Hello faithful viewers and welcome back to another Transformers review. This time we are continuing our look at my TF Nation 2024 haul, and the figure in question is the Transformers Revenge of the Fallen Voyager class Starscream. Now this is a figure that I've low-key wanted since 2009, and I remember seeing it on the shelves, specifically in Boston Tesco, that's Boston UK, and I remember seeing him on the shelves of the Tesco there alongside Ironhide and Demolisher and lots of others. I just didn't get him in the end, and if I remember, I had my heart set on the first movie one, which I did eventually get in the form of Ramjet and Skywarp of the Asda exclusives over here, but now I finally got Starscream, him being my first actually proper named Starscream from the movies. I know it's taken me so long, ridiculously long. So why did I choose this particular one? Well, partially because of that memory of seeing him and passing him by, but also I find the transformation scheme on this guy rather unique and very, very interesting. So Starscream here, as he does in the films, turns into an F-22 Raptor, and because it's Revenge of the Fallen, his representation is spitting full of lots of Cybertronian tattoos. Quite why he decorates himself like this, not entirely sure. It might be because he becomes Decepticon leader between the first two films, that might be why. But anyway, so you've got lots of interesting black lines to break up the very browny grey kind of paint scheme you've got going on here. I don't know what that means in Cybertronian hieroglyphs. You've got the Decepticon symbol there. You've got an orange translucent cockpit. There is a seat sculpted in there. You've got landing gear, two little wheels there and a bigger wheel there. None of them spin. They are solid plastic. I actually thought initially that this one here was shorter. I didn't realise that this little black piece folded out. I thought that was all I got. But no, to my delight, it does extend to that. So you can actually sit on all of the wheels that it comes with. So that's good. Yeah, it's a very solid vehicle mode. It's very, very streamlined. It's possibly one of the most streamlined movie Starscream vehicle modes that is out there. In terms of what becomes what, well, a lot of it is very well hidden, except for the obvious, his hands, and we will cover these more in robot mode because there is a very major design flaw with this figure which baffles the mind. This bit here is raised. It's meant to be like that. You've got some sculpted in thrusters there you can't see, but it is orange translucent plastic. It's the same kind as in the cockpit and in the light piping. It's just, oh yeah, you can see it now if I put the light to it right there. Very, very good vehicle mode. This is possibly actually the best thing about this figure, the vehicle mode. Very nicely done. So let's get down to the very interesting transformation. Now, it's not without its flaws, and it is a little bit higgledy-piggledy, but you'll see what the interesting thing is as we get to it. So let's get rid of the landing gear, and let's fold that up, and then just collapse these bits in like that. Let's start with the nose cone and let's just fold it in like that, and then let's come to the wings. We're going to unclip them there. The main connection points are here. We're just going to have them hang down, maneuvering them past these black pieces right here, which will ultimately end up being the shoulder blades. Disconnect the undercarriage here and just shimmy it down. Leave everything hanging for now. We will deal with all of this last. Untap the arms and spray them out as far as we possibly can, getting them hanging backward as well. And then we're going to come to these bits here. We're just going to fold them up. We're going to spin these bits here round like this. And then we are going to collapse these bits here like this. We're going to unclip this back bit here by moving that half down and that half up. And then this is the interesting bit, because I love the way this figure actually transforms. We're going to separate the entire body of the jet. We're going to bring it down like this. Head reveal as we do so. The entire body of the jet is going to basically become both the torso and the legs. And it's so clever. So let's bring all of this like this, and then clip it in like that, just to show what we're doing. There's a little black peg there on either side. So we're just going to tab them in like that, and then we can reconnect him down at the crotch area. If I get all of my tabs lined up. That one, because the black tabs that we are doing first actually allow his Mecha Live gimmick to function properly. So there we go. That's the back fully sorted. And then we're just going to continue to bring down the legs like so. And I just find that fascinating. Let's get these panels and then let's fold them that way. I have them folded the wrong way. That's interesting. Fold them that way and then angle them so that they are like that. We will straighten out the arms and deal with them in a second. And then the leg transformation is also very fun. It's fun to flip it back and forth. So we can rotate the feet like that, fold that back, and pull. That is so satisfying. Just the push of a pull aspect there. I really dig that. And then bend them backward for the chicken leg. So rotate, da, 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 da. Now when it comes to the arms, we're going to pull them like that, and then you can bend them like that just for now. So pull and twist, basically. These little wingtips here want to be up like that, and then we shall finish off with the backpack. So we're going to hinge that down. It doesn't hinge completely flush against the back of the figure, unfortunately, so there's a little bit of gappage there, but go to its maximum shifting downward. That was good English. And then with the wings here, we're going to spray them out. We're going to separate them and fold them down like that, but as we do so, we're going to separate them there, and basically fold them like that, and fold them down like that. So what they are effectively doing is mimicking the back thrusters that Starscream has, and it's one of the very few movie Starscreams to actually kind of pull that off. So separate, on tab, and as you bring it down, fold that in, and just have it rest against the back there, and then just have that situated as best as you possibly can because it doesn't tab in. And basically, there we go. That is Starscream just about fully transformed into a pretty decent looking robot mode. Now I say pretty decent, I don't say perfect because it's not. It has some major flaws. We'll get to them. But from the offset, general view, pretty darn good. If we zoom in at that noggin, it is a fairly faithful representation of how Starscream looks in the first 3 films. He is very bird-like in his features. He kind of has like a beak thing going on there. He has red eyes, which is actually painted over light piping. We'll try to show that off. So there we go, the light piping kind of is there, but because the eyes are painted over, it is hindered quite a bit. But it's okay. If you get the light at a specific angle, you can see at the bottom of the camera view there that his chest also lights up because the same kind of plastic, the translucent kind of thing, is present with the whole Mecha Live gear system. So whilst the eyes are compromised, the chest does light up quite nicely. And speaking of the Mecha Live, you know, you've got a lot of intricate gear detail right there. That's very, very gorgeous, and it's a lot more detailed than the first movie figure, which we will briefly compare it to in a short while. But look at all those gears and the silver paint and the translucent orange and the black and the browny grey thing going on. It's lovely. And now, of course, Mecha Live, the whole gimmick with this is the whole gear turning thing. So if we turn his head, you can see all of that moving. It's a nice sort of little thing. It's not my favourite thing that the Transformers ever did in terms of gimmicks. I prefer like Cyber Keys or Minicons or MechTech or Automorph. But, you know, it's nice to have it. You've got the cockpit there as per usual. You've got these panels now over the crotch. He has the bird leg, chicken leg kind of thing going on. You know, that's whatever. He fell over. And yeah, you've got lots of like massive protrusions in terms of wings here, which I don't know quite how accurate that is, specifically to a CGI render. But, you know, it doesn't look too terrible. And then, of course, you've got the facsimile of the thrusters on the back. So they are actually just hollowed out pieces because they are literally the wings just crumpled in on themselves. But it's nice that this figure goes the extra mile to trying to replicate these when other figures don't do that. So I appreciate it. Backpack wise, he is sporting a tiny bit of one, but it isn't really as egregious as the first movie, because that felt, well, I mean, even the first movie didn't have a lot of backpack, to be fair, so I'm kind of talking out my arse there. But the first movie one, the nose cone was really situated on the back, and sometimes it didn't tab in and it just flopped about. This one, whilst it doesn't tab in flush, it is pretty secure and it is nice and neat and flat, so I appreciate that. Overall impression of the robot mode is pretty good. But we're going to come to the elephant in the room now, being the arms. Now this, I don't know what the designers were thinking here. I understand that the arm construction was meant to be different, but for cost-cutting reasons, they ended up the way they did. So we've got the arms in a natural position right here. And this is as natural as they're ever going to be, because you'd have thought, okay, well, surely he's got an elbow bend. For some reason, the arms bend like that. Then the hands bend like that and they can't rotate. Why? Just why? So yeah, that's the elephant in the room that really doesn't make this figure all that good. Well, I mean, it's good, it's just bonkers. The legs also feel a little bit more prohibited, but that's just the nature of the whole chicken leg thing, isn't it? It does that adequately. It's just the arm situation is monumentally puzzling. He's got firing rockets here, so let's give them a little test in 3, 2, 1. I said in 3, 2, 1. I said in 3, 2, 1. In terms of articulation then, so Starscream's head is on a swivel and it can rotate 360 degrees like that, taking the Mechalive gears with it, but that's it. Can't look up, can't look down, just a swivel. The shoulders can bend out like that, and then you've got the black panels there which don't tap into anything, allowing him a greater range of movement like that. There's no butterfly joint or anything. This is a 2009 figure after all. You've got the rotation there at a very strange place, and as described earlier, you've got that really, really awkward bend there. Can't go the other way, and the wrists can only bend like that and they can't turn either. Bizarre, just so strange. Nothing of the waist, obviously. Forward kick, pretty good. Back kick, pretty good. Beautiful spread. You've got a rotation there as well, which is equally bizarre. You've got the hinges there for the leg transformation. You've got a little bit of toe wiggle waggle like that, and you've got a 360 swivel right there as well. So articulation is kind of what you would expect with a movie Starscream, but it is just weird. For size comparisons then, here is our Voyager Revenge of the Fallen Starscream with his counterpart from the first movie, but the Ramjet redeco. And you can see that the Revenge of the Fallen version is a head or so smaller than his predecessor, but is ultimately the superior figure, I think. However, now we're comparing Starscream to his successor, this time in the form of Dark of the Moon Thundercracker, and Thundercracker is actually the superior figure in this case, and it was the basis of the Studio series, which is the ultimate version for Voyager price point. To complete the original trio of Seekers, let's bring in a Skywarp in the form of Classic Skywarp, a fellow TF Nation 2024 purchase of mine. And then finally, here is Starscream with Marvel Legends Mysterio. So to transform Starscream back into F22 mode, we are going to just collapse in the arms, hopefully they're a little bit tight, just like that. There we go. And then let's work on the legs. So collapse up the feet, flip those panels in, rotate them, straighten the legs and push them back in. Very satisfying. Do the same thing on this one, just like that. And then let's get these lifted up out of the way for clearance sake. Let's come to the back. Let's unfold these. Give them like that and well, rip them off as you please. Let's try and get them back in. They do like to pop off, these things. Fortunately, they're just mushroom pegs. Well, they're not even mushroom pegs, they're friction clips, I should say. And they will just tab on with very little difficulty. This one in particular is being stubborn. Just because I'm doing a review, eh? You want to be stubborn. Let's try it on the other wing. So let's get that. Let's flip that like that. And then clip it in like that. And we're just going to bring all of that down, leave it hanging. And then we will come and just get these out of here. We're going to unclip this, and then this is where the fun begins. So unclip all of the torso bits. Let's get the arms back and out of the way. And swivel all of this assembly round. Let's get these bits, let's flip them away like that. Try and keep everything else back as you do so. And then flip these bits around. Take these and get them out like that. Flip that bit, get that out like that. Bring the legs in like so. So that they cover his head. Straighten all of this bit as you go, otherwise it'll be at a bit of a funny angle, like that, and then pick it in at the back, and that'll just help you see what madness is still afoot here. It's this side that's causing the problem. There we go, that'll help it. Make sure that's all plugged in. We'll continue to squish things together a bit more the closer to completion we get. Fold out the rest of the nose cone like that. Flip to the underside. Let's see what's going on here. So we're going to get the arms. So those bits are the right way around. We've just got the forearms the wrong way around. But that'll probably explain why I was struggling to push them in earlier. There we go. So they want to be that way. Bring the wings up. We're going to make sure that the wings thread over the black pieces there without snapping them off. There we go. And then we can tab these bits in here to secure them into place. And now everything's holding together a lot better. And then unravel these, get them situated ever correct angles like that. Just assess everything all over again, just to make sure it all looks nice and clean and flush as well as you possibly can. And then in terms of landing gear, come to these bits, let's flick out for, well, okay, that came off, but it's a friction clip, so it will go straight back in. So flick these out like that, and then back at the front, flick this out, and then flick the wheel that is inside out as well if you've got a long enough nail. There we go. Put that down, and after a little bit of hoo-ha, there we have Starscream fully transformed back into F-22 mode. So that's been our look at the Revenge of the Fallen Starscream. I think it's a decent figure overall, but it's obviously not without its flaws. Number one, you can see the posability here leaves a little bit to be desired. This is possibly the most dynamic pose you can get him into, which isn't particularly brilliant, let's be honest. But yeah, the arms are very awkward, but what I really do like about it is the general sculpting that we got going on here, the level of detail, and especially the transformation sequence. I really enjoy it. I enjoy flipping him back and forth between robot and vehicle, and the leg transformation is very satisfying. Do I recommend him? Well, here's the thing. It's not the best movie Starscream out there. That, hands down, goes to the Studio Series, which is an upscale of the Dark of the Moon Deluxe. So what I say is get the Studio Series above everything else. Obviously, if you can afford it, hunt down the Masterpiece, or even the Hunt for the Decepticons leader class figure, because they're great in their own rights as well. But if you're on a standard budget, get the Studio Series one. If you can't get the Studio Series one, get the Dark of the Moon Deluxe. And if you can't get the Dark of the Moon Deluxe, then get this guy, because he is better than the first movie version. He's a lot more interesting than the first movie version, but he's not the best. And you can see what the limitations are even at a first glance at the figure. He's charming in his own right for it, don't get me wrong, but there are better ones out there. So that's been my review of Avenger the Fallen Starscream. Thank you already so much for stopping by and checking out this video. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and share it around to help out the channel. And until the next time, see you all later.